Lady Macbeth is a character in one of Shakespeare's most spectacular plays, Macbeth. She is the wife to the play's protagonist, Macbeth, a Scottish nobleman. After leading him into committing regicide, she becomes Queen of Scotland, but later is crippled by her guilt for her role in the crime. Lady Macbeth is one of Shakespeare's most famous and frightening female characters, playing a pivotal role in Macbeth. When we first encounter her in the play, she was already ruthlessly plotting King Duncan's murder. She is a much stronger and ruthless character than her husband Macbeth, destroying anything that gets in the way of her burning ambition to become queen. She seems fully aware of this and knows that she will have to push Macbeth into committing murder. At one point, she calls upon the spirits to unsex her, wishing that she were not a woman so she could commit the bloody deed herself. Lady Macbeth revolves around the theme of power and violence, even her husband implying that she is a male inhabited by a female body. At the commencement of the play, she has far greater strength of will than her husband. While he hesitates and is distrustful of his powers, she never falters, needing no supernatural temptations to keep her going. While reading her husband's letter, she determines her path, nothing stopping her until the goal of her ambition is reached. Her first words after reading the letter show clearly the strength of her determination. Glamorous thou art, and cordial, and shalt be what thou art promised. Lady Macbeth is an extremely smart and cunning character, both in her words and actions, knowing when to tell her husband to leave the rest to me, so no suspicion would rest upon either Macbeth or herself. When she welcomes her prey, King Duncan, to her home, she is perfect in the art of dissembling as she says, "Your Majesty loads on our house." Until the night of the murder, she lands no suspicion on herself or her husband. Her plans absolutely flawless. Moments before the crime, the memory of her affectionate dead father made her pause. She was a devoted wife, previously having children who were no longer alive. Jovinus thus described her downfall. When the deed is accomplished, she stands at first still, while Macbeth now begins to push on with bolder strides. But when none of the golden expectations are realized, which she expected as the result of the deed, when instead of successful greatness, the ruin of the land and of her husband follows, her inner madness relaxes and sinks. In fact, both her mental and physical health deteriorates until the point of madness, finally dying from the guilt of murdering King Duncan. Throughout the play, spirituality is a major aspect contributing to the development of Lady Macbeth, in sync with the stereotypical Jacobean era citizen. As soon as she reads the witch's letter, she instantly succumbs and believes it is her destiny along with her husband. She relied on spirituality to get her through most of her devious plans. When plotting to murder the king, she claimed, "That my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark, to cry, hold, hold." This states that she doesn't want heaven to look down while she is committing any act of regicide. This also displays her relationship with her higher form of power, "That my keen knife see not the wound it makes." The quote also indicates that she doesn't want to kill the king, instead she gets Macbeth to do her dirty work for her. Overall, Lady Macbeth is integral to Shakespeare's Macbeth, with the witches planting the seed, but Lady Macbeth is the one who allows the seed to blossom. At the beginning, Lady Macbeth finds strength to incite Macbeth to murder Duncan and to follow through with the murder herself. As time advances, though, her pretended strength diminishes as she fights the torments of her conscience. Tending to her conscience engulfs and destabilizes her so that she cannot support Macbeth against Malcolm. Lady Macbeth's attempt to suppress her conscience fails. At the end, she chose death because she can no longer bear the torments of her guilt. Shakespeare intended to give the audience a different view of Shakespearean women because men who were overseers of society at the time. He also wanted to show us how spirituality can corrupt and deteriorate a person's whole being, as Lady Macbeth commits suicide at the end.